All right. If y'all could humor me for just 1 second, I would like everyone to close your eyes and think really hard on what I'm about to say. Uh, I want everyone to think of one person who they would consider a role model. It can be anyone. It can be someone who's you're really close to, you've been with since childhood. It could be someone you watched on TV. It doesn't really matter. Think really hard on it. Okay, you can open your eyes. Uh, One thing that I think is incredible about the way our world works is that I bet you that every single person in this room had a different answer in mind. Or about half of you picked Spider-Man, but that's besides the point. Uh, my name is Aidan Schachterle, and during my student learning experience, I bore witness to how a positive role model shapes a future indefinitely brighter. So these four individuals are people who I would consider good, positive role models. Terry Crews has spoken out against sexual assault on males. Kevin Love has brought attention to mental health in sports. My dad is my personal role model who helped me to be okay with myself. And Jack Black made Nacho Libre. Uh, Anyways, the impact of a positive presence can have, even if not physically near, leave a defined impression on the soul of someone. I've kind of been enamored with this concept ever since about 2 years ago when I started working at the YMCA, just like Ahmed. Uh, and working there, especially the schools that I worked at were much more lower income schools, a lot more underprivileged kids. And one thing I've noticed is that a common pattern between the kids who struggled in school or struggled socially was that they had a lot of trouble because they didn't have a positive role model in their lives. And I just thought that was an interesting thread. And so I'm glad that I was able to kind of explore this a little more when a family friend reached out and allowed me to work at the school that she worked at for my SLE. Uh, I was offered something kind of a student teaching role at a school called the Cherry Creek Challenge School, which is a K through 8 school down in Aurora. I was basically the assistant to multiple teachers. I'd also be sitting in on classes, kind of taking notes, learning the ropes and everything. And compared to what I was used to, kind of unstructured childcare, we don't really give them a lesson plan or anything like that. I was struck by how organized the teachers were able to keep those kids. If you know anything about little kids, 5-year-olds can be about as coordinated as like sheep without legs. Uh, but what I really noticed is that there are two main things that allowed them to create a productive environment, routine, and model. Uh, and those things, I think, were best exemplified by the school's gym teacher, Miss Blythe. Uh, Being the gym teacher, kids are gonna come in all crazy, like they're gonna be running around, just wanting to have fun. But she was able to corral them in, kids every single day I saw. And keep in mind, the SLE is later in the year. I started coming around late March, and every single time kids would go to the exact same spot, look at her, listen to exactly what she was saying, and just to make sure that they stayed engaged, because it is still a gym class, she would have certain kind of commands to keep them involved. Like she would just say, "Spin around," and you gotta spin around and everything. You gotta keep kids engaged. And I just thought, clearly keeping those routines throughout the year is what allowed her to uh, keep her class in such an organized fashion. Uh, and then another teacher that I really, really found inspiring was a first grade teacher who his last name was too long. They just called him Mr. K. I can't even remember how you pronounced it, but he was actually the only male elementary school teacher in the entire school. And not only were his classes structured, but it was clear that the kids were happy to be there. He was able to give the appropriate amount of attention to each and every kid. He was able to show admirable behaviors that kids would follow. And what really sold it for me was that during my time there, one of my main jobs was one-on-one reading. So the kid would pick a book or get a book given to them, and then they would read it out loud to me, and I would help them get through it, make sure that they were understanding everything. And many times kids would come up to me with a book saying like, "Oh, Mr. K just gave me this new book. Like it's supposed to be like a lot harder and everything." So, and some kids, weren't up to the test. They were a little upset that they had to do extra work, but no matter what, they would end up once they were done, they would go and tell their teacher exactly how it went, and it was clear that they were very proud of the work that they had done for him. Uh, Now, that's a kind of experience that I am very lucky to have experienced myself. A couple people in this room might remember Peter Tolson. He was my kindergarten teacher, first grade teacher too, 13 years ago here at Remsel. And the way that those kids looked at their teacher and the way that they drew inspiration from him, the way that they listened properly, that's exactly how I've always felt about Peter. He really helped shape me into the person I am today, even from such a young age. In fact, I wrote my college essay about him, and now I am on a full ride education scholarship to CU Boulder. Uh, Thank you. Yeah, I've learned so much from so many great educators on how to be a good teacher. But really, I think I'll take their ability to inspire and shape young minds a lot more than that. My teachers shaped me up to where I am today, and I intend to return the favor. Thank you.